kind of have a lot of, I don't want to say heartfelt, but I mean, you have a lot of songs that touch a lot of your fans. Talk about kind of some of the experiences you've had with your fans regarding that.
Man, I'll tell you what, we just always wrote songs about life, you know, and we always will. But it's nothing better that you could do as, you know, in any profession than to know that a song that you've written or been a part of has touched somebody in some way. And especially a song like, you know, I was talking about a minute ago, but a song like Away from the Sun, you know, you read down through YouTube and comments and stuff like that, you know, and to come across comments that people tell you that a song helped them through a really dark time in their life or something they was going through or breakup or, you know, just some of the hard times. There's nothing better you can do in this world, in my opinion, you know, and it just makes you feel good when that happens, and it's a wonderful thing.
Kind of talking on that, I mean, I don't know if this was inspired from that or just something that came down the road, but talk a little bit about the Better Life Foundation.
Yeah, the Better Life Foundation, man, it really is about helping people, and it's a big part of all of our lives. Excuse me. And we started the Better Life Foundation after our first record, The Better Life, and we're all from South Mississippi, or most of us are, me, Todd, and Chris. And we started that foundation to kind of benefit local children's charities and special needs homes and food pantries and just wherever there was a need, you know. And after Katrina hit down there, it kind of supercharged the foundation because we really seen a lot of need. And we were on tour at the time when the hurricane hit. And we stayed out for about another, I guess we had 5 or 6 more shows, and everywhere that we played, we just had like these little impromptu like food drives, just announced through the local radio station, you know, about bringing food and stuff. And everywhere that we went, just the outpouring of goodness from people, it was overwhelming, man. We're up in, I think it was in West Virginia somewhere, we played a show, and like I said, we didn't announce this food drive till like that day. In every single place that we'd have one, somebody that owned a semi or something, everywhere we went, somebody would volunteer to drive it down there. And this day, it was an arena that we were playing. It was a good size arena. It wasn't the size of Bridgestone, but it was good size. And they brought all the things in there, and all the bags of food that all these people brought covered the entire floor of this arena. And so that really got us to thinking and stuff, and that supercharged kind of then really got us to thinking outside the box of what we've been doing. And now over the past few years, it's grown from just being in South Mississippi to throughout the entire Southeast that we've been able to do some things. And man, you know, we're just a catalyst for it, and all the money for it comes from our fans, but it's a dollar in, dollar out foundation. And we're really careful about where we give the money as well to make sure that it actually goes for good things. And so it's been the greatest thing that this band's ever been a part of, hands down.
That's awesome. It goes like right along with my theory from my limited radio experience. Most of the bands that I meet that are really successful are really good guys, and they do great stuff like that. A lot of the douchier bands that I've met, they've had that one single and then you don't hear from them again. So.
You know what, man? That's the truth. You run across those same bands on tour. It's like some punk comes walking in. You'll be playing like a festival or something. Some little punk walks in, man, and it's like, who's this cat? I don't know. His song came out last week. It's like, you know, it's like one. It's like, and then he's gone. But you know, you meet these huge. You meet freaking Metallica, and James Hetfield's awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like he stood on the side of the stage one night with us. I just have to tell us real quick. And this is when Daniel Adair was our drummer several years ago. We're glad. And we were playing this, we were co-headlining this show, or we was headlining the side stage. It was over in Holland or somewhere, and Metallica was headlining the main stage. And so James Hetfield, I looked over, and it was kind of a small stage. I looked over, James Hetfield standing right there on the side of the stage. I was like, holy crap. And I mean, I was just so impressed he was standing there. But he stood there for about 45 minutes. And after about 30 minutes, I was like, this is really cool, but I wish he'd go on. You're making me so nervous. I couldn't even think about the show I was playing. I was like, dang, it's James Hetfield. And so he was standing backstage after the show, and he come up, he's like, yeah, I sounded good, you know, and all that. I was like, thanks, man. And he asked me something about where we were from and stuff, and I just sat there and rambled on like I do for about 5 minutes. And Daniel being from Canada, that's why he was crucial to this story. He was standing there, and he and James were talking. I went there and rambled for about 5 minutes, and James Hetfield looked at Daniel and said, what the hell did this boy just say? He didn't understand one word that came out of my mouth. It's pretty funny anyway.
That's awesome. All right, guys. we have right here very successful band. They've sold crap ton of records, had bunches of hits, toured the world, had their music in movies, videos, the whole nine. Here's your chance. If you would like to ask Three Doors Down a question, raise your hand. We can take a few. So if there's anybody who would like to ask them, I think you guys will pretty much answer anything, won't you?
Pretty much.
Raise your hand. Let me know. We need the first one to get
Keeping in mind that our entire band's wives are manning the front couch right here.
Let's go ahead.
Under a microscope.
What is your favorite song that you've written and performed?
You know what? It depends. It varies with me. But if there's one that probably stands out for me the most over the years, it's probably Away from the Sun. Because I was kind of in a dark place when I wrote it, you know, and it kind of got me through a lot too. And so I guess that one probably more than most. And I guess one of the more recent songs that we've written, it's one of my favorites, is When You're Young. Because I really think that song says a lot about people growing up and how people talk about, you know, looking back on how easy it is for, well, enjoy it, man, you know, you're still young, but it's hard to be young. I mean, I remember it's like everything that you're facing for the first time, and you know, it's like sometimes what we look back now as adults, man, back then looking forward on those things, they would seem so big in front of you, you know, and I know that's hard and so that's probably another one of my favorites.
Anyone else have a question?
What inspires you to write about what you write about?
Just, you know, I guess life just inspires songs and just different things and sometimes you actually look for things to write about because sometimes in writing the hardest thing about writing a song is finding something to write about. If you never like settle on something that you believe in and then it's a lot easier. And a lot of times, honestly, when these guys are sitting and playing a melody, that melody will bring out an emotion or something that leads to a lyric. You know, even if it's just one word, one little phrase, and you know, you just write off of that and come up with something.
You just take something and run from whether it be a reflection of yourself in life or someone else's.
Absolutely, absolutely, and a lot of times it is someone else. You know, somebody that you see going through something that you feel like people can identify with, and also in doing that, I try to keep in mind to not just write specifically what I'm feeling, but leave it kind of open-ended to where people can apply it to their own lives. You know, I've always kind of looked at a good song and a great song as being the difference between like a book and a movie. Like the movie tells you exactly how it happens, whereas a good book, it really kind of lets you draw your own conclusions and paint your own pictures. And I think the song should do that as well.
Right. Thanks.
Any other questions?
I got a little statement, kind of a thank you. In a negative world, you guys always kind of come off in a positive way, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of other people appreciate it too.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it, man.
It means a lot.
Thank you. Y'all mean a lot.
Back here.
I just want to ask, what are some of your musical inspirations growing up as a band when you first started?
I think probably mostly for me was like 80s rock and roll. Just I know that doesn't sound like the coolest inspiration, but and you know, and it would probably vary for everybody up here. You know, Poison and Def Leppard and stuff like that. Man, I loved them growing up. I was doing an interview the other day, and somebody asked me about something about I was writing a song with this guy, and he's like, you know, he kind of had this little feel about he's like, you know, I don't want to be silly or nothing, but he's kind of like pour some sugar on me. I was like, whoa, dude, that live video is what made me want to do this for a living. That was my stuff right there, man.
What was your first record?
Didn't talk like that. White Lion.
What about everybody else? What was each of your first records?
What's that?
Everybody. I want to know everybody's
Yeah,
first
what's
record.
everybody's first record?
Mine? Actually, it was cool. News of the World, Queen.
First record I ever bought was Moniker Shout at the Devil.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Just released it.
Quiet Riot.
Quiet Riot.
What did you use?
I think it was Are You Experienced?
So you're the only lame one
Well,
here?
Have you ever went to a karaoke bar and did your own stuff?
yeah. After I've been drinking, I should.
I said, that turned out pretty good. Not
What's
too
that?
bad. I said, not too bad, pretty good.
Yeah, they're like, it's all right. But somebody, you know what, I think it was me and Hugo from Tantry done that one time.
That's gotta be fun.
The guy from Daltrey wanted to go do it, not Chris, but the rest of his band. I was like, I know better than that now.
That's awesome. You guys want to play one last one for us?
Sure. This well, Away from the Sun, actually. A bit older song, but oldie but a goodie. Oldie, fun one to play. And this song, I'll tell you about this song, When I'm Gone. I guess probably most of you have probably seen that video at some point that we done, and we shot for the military. That wasn't originally intended to be the song for that, or the video for that song rather. We were right before we went on the military tour for MWR. We went and played on the deck of the USS George Washington, and went over to Bahrain and over to Signal and some places like that. We had shot a video for this song. It was like supposed to be like a New Orleans, old kind of New Orleans themed burial, that we were all being buried alive, and we recorded it down in South Mississippi in the swamp during a freaking tropical storm. And it entailed us being buried alive up to our heads in real graves. They weren't fake either. I mean, I was standing in a 6-foot hole and had to be buried above my head 4 or 5 times. And I was about done with it, to be honest. I was like, yeah, this is your last take, buddy. You better get that shot. But so anyway, we shot that video, and you might find it on YouTube or somewhere because we used it for other places. But that was supposed to be the original video for this song, and then we came back off of that tour, and we're getting ready to put that video out, and the president of our label said, well, check this out, you know? And he played us that video, and we were like, you know what, forget the other one, this is the one. And because we really thought it paid good tribute to our troops, and we close with this song every night on tour with a tribute